Всем привет! Выходные, значит сингл. Так, музыку сейчас убавим. Музыка неплохая, но очень напрягучая. Что соединение? Так, ну новая игра. Я в нее на самом деле еще не игрался.
The water's cold.
It's a fjord. You're not going swimming.
Boo. You're such a wet blanket, teddy bear.
You know I don't like it when you call me...
Edward Charles Harden, Esquire.
Will you promise to behave on land?
Don't I always?
Lissy, promise.
Ah, piffle and phonus balonus, Teddy. You ought to know better than to ask. Yes, I'll behave. I'll be a... proper young lady. I shan't run or
Вар не нужен. Я думал,
climb
нормально.
things or laugh too loud or call anyone old bean. Aside from you. So, do you think we'll find your Betty in, what did you call this village? Gravewick?
She's there.
How can you know for sure?
She's my sister.
But how can you know?
I just do. In her letter, she wrote about...
But that's months ago. She could have gone anywhere.
Without writing or telegraphing her editor in New York, she wouldn't do that. Betty's...
The cat's pajamas, the bee's knees, little Miss...
Alice, you're talking about my sister.
Fine. I'm sorry. Elizabeth Sidarb. We all love her dearly. And Teddy Bear. Edward. We will find her. Betty's fine. Why, we'll see her as soon as we get to shore. She'll shower you with kisses and berate you for coming all this way from Hanover, Massachusetts to the middle of absolutely nowhere Scandinavia way just to chase her
Norway.
down. Everything will be Jake, old fruit. Is that it? Is that Groovewoke? It looks so peaceful. And beautiful. And so desolate. Like a place built for ghosts.
Finally. I don't think I could do this for much longer.
Can't you row any faster? I'm getting frightfully bored.
How about you take over, Alice?
You slay me, Teddy, old bean. Was that thunder?
Still distant. The boat will be in safe harbor by the time the weather arrives.
So you say. But I say put your back into it, because we're sitting ducks out here. Quack, quack. It's so quiet. Where is everyone?
Probably working. I know it's a foreign concept to you, but that's something normal people do.
Hardy har har.
The Fretland farm is up the hill somewhere.
Up where?
I believe it's that farmhouse, all the way at the top.
Hot dog! Let's ankle!
Hold on. Let me read the letter from Mrs. Fretland first.
I'll meet you up there, old sport. I want to explore. Last one's a skunk.
Be careful. The ground's...
Edward. Teddy, where are you going?
Be careful. The ground's muddy. You could slip and fall.
See you in 2 shakes.
Dear Mr. Harden, we would like to extend an invitation to visit our home. Trouble to hear of your sister's disappearance. No news to share. You'll find our farm on top of the hill. I hope I got that right. Look forward to seeing you here in October. Yours faithfully, Anna Fretland. Well, I'm here. Where are you? Did you make it to Grovik, Betty? And why did you pick this forlorn hole under the mountains? Also sprach Zarathustra.
Teddy, are you coming? I'm almost there.
On my way. Righto. Step to it, teddy bear. Where are you, Lissy?
I'm waiting for you at the farm. Are you coming?
Just taking a break.
Hurry up! Storm's getting closer.
Where are you?
I'm by the farmhouse. Teddy, this way.
Where are you, Lissy?
I'm up at the farm. Edward Charles Harden, I'm waiting for you.
Lissy?
I'm up at the farm. What took you so long?
I'm not 17.
Nor are you 70. Put some spring into your step, old sport.
Did you see the flag? It's at half-mast. Someone died.
So this is it, huh? Nice digs. But seriously, where is everyone? This is starting to creep.
Up in the mountains, maybe.
Herding goats? Are they goat herders? I took them more for fisher folk.
The rain's picking up. We should get indoors.
You first, old bean.
Hello? Anyone there? Mr. Fretland? Mrs. Fretland?
This is Edward Charles Harden, the American. We've exchanged letters.
Maybe they went on holiday and left the door open. Give it a shake and a rattle.
I can't just barge into their home.
It's not a crime if you're invited.
I'm coming in. This is Mr. Harden. Hello? Is anyone home?
This house is as empty as a bird's nest in December. Hey, you want to check out the upstairs?
I'm a guest. Why would I start poking around every corner of the house?
I don't know. Maybe they're playing hide and go seek. Well, I didn't want to go upstairs anyway. It's creepy.
There must be a sitting room on this floor.
Ah, this is nice. Charmingly rustic. The Boston Beaumont would pay a pretty penny for this setup. I thought foreigners lived differently. This is almost like an American home.
People are people wherever you go.
Thanks, Proust. Look! Family pictures. They must be the... Wait. Is that... Are they... Who's... They're all twins. All of them.
That's Johann and Anna Fretland.
There are two of each, Edward.
Dear Mrs. Fretland, I trust this letter finds you and your husband in good health. I wrote to inform them about when I'd be arriving. So where are they?
Do they even have calendars? Maybe they don't know what day it is.
Despite appearances, we haven't gone back in time. They have calendars. Oh, the thought of boarding that infernal ocean liner again.
I quite enjoyed it. So much room for exploration and mischief.
So many opportunities for seasickness and claustrophobia.
Don't be a Debbie Downer. I'm sure your tummy will be better behaved on the return voyage. And you'll be craving enclosed spaces after a week in this wide-open wilderness. Where do you think they've gone?
The Fretlands.
Right. Anna and... John?
Johann.
This is honestly not what I'd pictured. They're very presentable. Not at all like turnip farmers.
They're not turnip farmers. That must be Johann Fretland, master of the house. It's really coming down.
How about a quick run in the rain?
You can't be serious.
You're already a wet blanket, teddy bear. It's not like you'll get any wetter.
You can see the whole village from up here.
Do you want to go sightseeing?
Tomorrow. It's getting late, and the rain's not abating. The books are all in English.
Isn't that a bit odd?
Mrs. Fretland is Scottish, though she grew up in Olesund.
Have you been secretly communicating with Johann's winsome wife, Edward, dearest?
Certainly not. She was the one who wrote me, because Mr. Fretland's English
I was
isn't as...
only joking. Well, those boys look proud as peacocks. What does it say there? Groovy?
Gruben, the mine.
Maybe that's where everyone is. Digging for precious jewels in the Stygian abyss.
From what I learned of this place during the brief stay in Olesund, the iron mine shut down 20 years ago. Foreign investors out of Frederick Fretland's mining company. Dire financial consequences for Fretland, who must have had a difficult time after his brother Johann Fretland pulled out earlier this year. The timing is curious, like he knew something was about to go awry. Johann Fretland exits Fretland Brothers Mining Company.
So the brothers parted ways?
Johann sold his share to focus on farming.
Well, that must have put a damper on their relationship.
Johann Fretland exits Fretland Brothers Mining Company.
So the brothers parted ways?
Johann sold his share to focus on farming.
Well, that must have put a damper on their relationship.
Tragic accident befalls the Fretland Brothers Mining Company.
What happened?
The mine collapsed, killing 3 workers, including Arne Fretland, Frederick and Johann's younger brother.
That's awful. How old was he?
19. Operations were suspended after the accident. Betty might be with the Fretlands, wherever they are.
Wouldn't Anna Fretland have written you?
She might have. We left Hanover a month ago. Betty.
Have you gone screwy again, Teddy? That's not Betty.
Her
That's...
scarf. I'd know it anywhere.
It doesn't look like anything to me. It just
She bought it
looks
in
like...
Bloomingdale's the Christmas before last. When she came home that year, she showed it off, dancing around the sitting room until I got dizzy watching her.
I think you're misremembering. She couldn't make it home that year. Again.
No, you're wrong. I'm sure she was there.
Whatever.
Look, it is her scarf. It even smells like her perfume. Shalimar.
But what if that's not...
She's here. I'm finally going to find her.
That's great, Edward, really. I wouldn't want you to get your hopes up. I mean, where's everyone gone to? Something's not right, I'm telling you. Teddy? Edward, what's wrong?
Lightheaded, that's all.
You're having another spell. You know what happens when you exert yourself. Sit down. That's an order from York...
I just need to catch my breath. Just for a moment.
I want you to lie down. Lie down and close your eyes. It's been a strenuous day. What with the rowing and the dragging of the suitcase up the hill.
Well, what if the Fretland...
I'll keep an eye out. I promise. If they come home, I'll wake you. Now, lie down, close your eyes, breathe deeply.
I'm just going to...
Shh.
Elizabeth? Is that you? Betty?
А, еще потеряйся,
Listen.
блядь.
Lissy, are you here?
Where are you, Lissy? Hello?
Hey, who's there? Betty? Elizabeth? Wait! Lissy, there's someone outside. It might be Betty. Are you here, Lissy? Who's out there? Hello? Betty? Lissy? I'm not alone.
Это что за след такой? Нормально.
I can hear you! Who goes there? Wait! Someone there? Betty?
Что за привычка? Ходят и орут, блядь. Мне чтоб тихо ходить, блядь. Нет, надо орать, блядь. Корова, блядь, это какая-нибудь.
Hello?
Конечно, ну или коза, блядь, конечно.
Betty, is that you? Are you there, Betty? Shit.
Что-нибудь испугать еще.
Elizabeth, are you there?
The boat, Edward! Where's our boat?
Lizzie. Where did you go? Why did you leave me?
It stopped raining and you were sleeping, and our boat, it's gone.
The boat... What? How?
Maybe you didn't secure it properly.
I pulled it up. I don't know. I thought I tied it securely, but... Did you see Betty?
Did I see... What are you talking about?
I think... Betty... It was Betty. It was her. It must have been her. I saw her face in the window, and she vanished into the dark towards the sea.
Вот нифига не похоже
Really
на
didn't
быть,
see
блядь,
any.
похоже на
I
летучую
haven't
мышь.
seen a single soul. Are you sure it was her and
Yes.
not...
I mean, I saw her face, and it looked like her.
Well, if it was her, why did she run away?
I don't know. It's getting dark. Back to the house. Then tomorrow.
Tomorrow's another day, Teddy Bear. We'll figure it out. Right now, let's get you cleaned up. Look at you. You've got mud all over yourself. And then you really need to sleep. You must be exhausted. Come on.
Кажется, блядь, их вот не смутило, блядь, что... Ну, в принципе, сейчас они выбраться, конечно, не могут. Хотя сомневаюсь, что это была единственная лодка.
It's a beautiful day.
Не может же быть, что, блядь, одна лодка на весь остров, блядь. Так, мы сюда не ходили. Что это за письмо? Почему не могу прочитать его? Блядь. Нахера интерактивный мир? Это детская. Мгм. Типа по сюжету еще не могу почитать. Нормально. Вид охуенный. Что бы кто ни говорил. Вот ковер, блядь. Чё? Все на высоком? Кроме поставроводки. Ковер выглядит как говно. Нормально. Я, кажется, понял. Опа. Вылет. Шикардосно. Я понял.
А вот ты за тепло. Вот это мне был плюс. Убрали охуенно.
Den dag kommer aldrig at jeg det glemmer, foran meg søver i gang deg drømmer, om natt og dag er du like nær, men best jeg ser deg når mørkt er.
Уебываться не будем, поэтому масштаб разрешения ставим прежний. Так, ну дом мы осматривать не будем, как я понимаю, дом нихуя не интерактивен на данный момент. Поэтому просто выйдем на улицу.
Teddy, come outside.
Да,
It's a beautiful day.
да, да, да.
I just about given up on you ever waking up.
Можно
Sleep
флаг
well?
поднять? Меня
I
уже
dreamed
чай,
of
блядь.
Betty. She was in the garden, and she called for me.
Блин, чё, как темно-то?
How about you, Lissy dearest? Oh, you know me, old fruit, wide awake at first light.
The Fretlands didn't come home, did they?
They did not. There's no sign of anyone. Aside from last night's Mistwalker.
I've been thinking about that. It was dark. Maybe I just saw a shadow.
Chasing a shadow. That's very unlike you, old boy. Usually you scurry off in the opposite direction.
I didn't get a good look. I'm not even sure there was anyone there.
Well, there must be someone here. And I'm not talking about ghosts. Or goats. What was it you said yesterday? Maybe they're looking down on us from the mountaintops.
I'll take a gander. The Fretlands will be home soon. And Betty's here. I know it.
Where are you going? Edward.
Anyway, and Betty's here. I know it. I feel it.
If you say so, Teddy Bear. Have you had your noodle juice yet?
I'm not rummaging through their cupboards.
You'll be a pill without your tea and toast, old bean. We need to get you sorted.
I'm not hungry. First point on the agenda. Find the natives.
A mission! Hot dog! I'll scout ahead. I'll meet you down by those houses.
Let's uncover your secrets, Grovik.
Так я уже бегаю трусцой.
Where are you, Lissy?
Хуйня, ты где?
Right by the village houses.
Ну, отлично. Козел. Козел. Козел, козел, козел. Козел, сука. Ладно, живи, падла.
Alice.
Yes? Up here, Teddy.
Ух, ёпта.
It's such a beautiful day. You could bottle and sell this air in Boston. It's frankly medicinal.
Careful you don't fall.
You suck the fun out of everything, old boy.
We're far from any doctor. I don't want you to hurt yourself.
That's not very likely, is it?
I thought you were scouting ahead.
What do you think I'm doing? Vantage point, like on a pirate ship. I can. Where are you going?
Куда ты чё заебал? Чё, блядь, с тобой что ли должен ходить, блядь?
I can probably see our house in Hanover from here.
Did you check those buildings?
Knocking on doors isn't a scout's job, old bean.
There must be someone around.
Only one way to find out, old sport. Did you check all the houses?
Hello? Anyone here?
Why, hello, Mr. American. Please come in for a cup of tea and biscuits. No one home?
Hello? Who's there? Hello? Anyone home? September 21st, 1923. Vi desperata. Lissy, found something here. Escalated from words to stones. Blood has been spilled. The curse haunts us all. There is no hope left in Gudsforlata. Good. God. Right. In this God-forsaken place. The death of the Jiminy. Death of the children was the end of Grovik. Whatever remained of our souls departed with them. You should see this, Lissy. The letter just trails off. Was never sent. Did you see this door closing?
It was just the wind, teddy bear. You're as skittish as a pussycat. There's one more house. Third time's the charm.
Anyone home?
Unless they're playing hide and go seek, I'd say that's a no. Three strikes, you're out.
I don't think anyone's been home for a while. Someone painted the word traitor on one of the doors. And there was a letter. It sounded foreboding.
Still think everyone's up in the mountains, herding goats?
I saw some sheds down by the water. There's the general store, the church.
In other words, time for some sightseeing? Well, it's a bright and beautiful day, and we have nothing better to do.
What on earth are you doing?
Handstands, Teddy! My record is 2 minutes. I'm working on 3. Just go on ahead. I'll catch up.
July 24th. Memorial service. A commemoration of the accident at the mine this past summer. No services after that.
All these graves. What happened?
Why?
What does that say?
God is not here.
What does that say?
God is not here.
What does that say?
God is not here. Betty would have...
Well, so much for that. No wedding, no baptism, no funeral.
There must be people somewhere. Where are you going?
For constitutional. To breathe some of this salty sea air. You go on ahead. I'll find you.
Нарисовать я сел? Ага. Я подумал, перевод кривой. Чё? Я думал... Так, сейчас я сяду, да? Вот, я, видимо, рисую до конца. То есть я поторопился, встал. Так, сейчас, секунду. Опять козел. Ну, пока неплохо, но вот качество текстур подводит, конечно. Интересно, сколько он будет рисовать? Я все понимаю, что это не быстро. Уже ты заебал, блядь. Сейчас проверим, вообще прогресс есть какой-нибудь. Понятно, прогресса нет. За сколько времени нифига ничего не нарисовал. Сюда. Но все-таки фьорды, осень, горы, море. Красиво. Так, там что у нас? Блять. Там у нас неизведанная фигня. А внизу у нас деревушка. Так, я думаю, надо сходить в деревушку, потому что не возвращаться вниз. На берегу, который я имею в виду. дома не бегали. Здесь еще грохнулись.
Lissy?
Up at the church! How about we don't go back to Hanover and stay here instead?
Fretland and Son.
How do you figure?
It's on the sign above the entrance. And on this photograph. Frederick? Applesauce.
Why lock any doors? I can't imagine they have a problem with punks and hoodlums.
They had a memorial service for the accident in the mine. On July 20...
A boat! Teddy! A hot dog! This is our ticket out of here!
Not without Betty.
Ну, я же говорю, что это не единственная лодка была, которая приплыли. Сейчас им покажется, что обрезали, блядь.
There's no damage to the rope.
I don't know what that means.
Nobody cut it. I guess the knot could have unraveled on its own.
Didn't you say you used a sailor's knot?
I'm a scholar, not a fisherman.
So, who took our boat?
I believe the tide took our boat.
If you say so. But then who were you chasing after last night? A shadow?
Что, блядь, жутко. Ну не страшно, конечно, но жутко.
What's this?
Remnants of the mining operation.
What, mine?
Remember, I told you yesterday. There was a mine here, but it closed down 20 years ago.
I know, Edward. I was just checking for a sense of humor. Still nowhere to be found.
Till Minna Om. It's a memorial. 3 men died when the mine collapsed in 1902. Georg Hatlestad, Niels Framberg, Arne Fretland.
See, this is what working a regular job. Did you say Fretland?
The younger brother who was mentioned in the article. The newspaper said the accident forced the mine to shut down.
What does any of this have to do with us?
I still don't know why Elizabeth came here.
And you think it has something to do with this mine?
Or with what it did to the village. Maybe. He was just 19.
How long had he been working in the mine? That's too young for a dirty job like digging into rock.
We're in the real world. Lissy.
Hello.
Что не понял. Я говорю, что-то, блядь, не то с масштабом разрешения, блядь. Нет. То ли я слишком быстро встаю, то ли чего. Теперь он сам встал. картинка говно. Понятно. Что нифига ничего не понятно.
What did they use this for?
Bringing the ore down from the mine before it was loaded onto boats.
So, diamonds? Gold? Or just boring old silver?
Iron ore.
Or what?
Rock, which contains iron
I know.
deposits that...
Okay, Edward. I don't understand why they just leave this here. Like, where do these tracks lead?
To the mine. Where else would they go?
I don't know. A castle up in the mountains? Right.
Нет, это не влияет, бля. Что не так с текстурами? Качество текстур высоко. Ультра. Ну уж ультра, блядь, нам не надо. Материалы. Чё с текстурами, блин?
No trespassing for traitors.
Cool. Want to jump the gate and explore what's on the other side?
The sign says no trespassing for a reason.
Come on! There may be trolls, or at least more houses. Where's your sense of adventure, old sport? Don't you want to see where these tracks go?
They lead to the old mine, and no. I've had enough adventure on this side of the fence. Besides, they wrote no trespassing for a reason.
You're such a terrible bore, Teddy Bear. I'll wager 1,000 clams you'll jump this gate at some point, if you believe Betty's on the other side.
Frederick Fretland. Who are these traitors he refers to?
What now? We've looked everywhere.
There really doesn't seem to be anyone around.
Maybe we missed something. An important clue. How about the general store? We haven't been inside yet.
It looked deserted, but worth another look, I guess.
Они, блядь, не задумываются, да, что жрать нечего, блядь. Ну, птицы ловятся.
Is that? Lizzie, come here. It's Betty's hat. She was here. She could still be in there. Betty? Betty!
Are you sure, Edward? I mean, it's just a hat. Is it even a hat? I'm not
I know
sure.
my sister's hat, Lizzie. I have to get inside.
What about the breaking and entering part?
I could care less what they call it.
Бени.
Lizzie, are you here?
Yeah?
Там наверх есть... люк наверх есть, а у стены стоит лестница. Думаю, неспроста.
Here's an open window.
You seem eager to break the law. I approve.
It won't budge.
Nah, don't be a milquetoast.
Well, it's stuck.
Attaboy, Teddy. You can do this.
I can't believe I'm actually breaking... Whoops, Daisy.
Oh my, Teddy. You're such a sap. Edward Charles Harlan. Tanty, world traveler, cat burglar.
A cat burglar would, by definition, enter a building on a higher
Jeez.
floor.
The state of this place.
Oh, Betty.
Edward,
I hope you weren't here when...
is this blood?
Not necessarily human blood.
Well, That's alright then. What does it say? Barn murder? Someone murdered a barn?
Damnation. The hat's in here.
Calm down.
Barn means child. And mortar, that's...
Child murderer. Edward, they murdered a child?
Someone thought so.
Probably the same someone who vandalized the store.
Who knows what else is in here? There could be more clues.
Alright, okay. Everything's Jake. We made it into the store. I'm sure we'll find a way through that door.
I'm not sure how I feel about being in here.
Don't be ridiculous. We're all alone. What else do you suggest we do?
Бля, да пини ты уже.
It's been cut. Why?
To remove someone from the picture.
That's just rude.
It's from the opening of the mine in 1897. That's Frederick, Johann's brother.
And the boy could be the younger brother who died.
Frederick clearly did not want anything to do with his twin brother. Why would Frederick keep a list of what he calls traitors?
Так, сейчас, секунду, я посмотрю, почему текстуры такие плохие.
The what? What did they do to him?
crossings.
Короче, они накосячили что-то с
Why else
текстурами.
keep a shit
И
a list of
высокий, короче, не
undesirables?
отображает как... Ну, не отображает, они как типа низкий выдают, поэтому поставил так. Сейчас должно быть нормально. Да, вот, уже нормально стало.
Out of order.
Why hasn't it been fixed?
Perhaps there wasn't much demand for it anymore. These were never sent.
How long have they been piling up?
I received Mrs. Fretland's letter in June, and they received my letter from July.
A couple of months. Perhaps the world forgot about Grovik. What are you doing?
Looking for keys. The keys are all gone.
Some thieving thieves beat you to it. Rascals.
There's a note.
Is it written in Viking runes? What does it say?
It's from Simon. Casa. I don't know what that word means. Yai put it means I put.
Нёкель.
Knuckle is key.
Ключи
You
в
put the
кассе,
key in the
блядь.
casa?
Casa. I wish I had my dictionary. The note's addressed to his father.
So the key was moved.
Касса,
But
блядь.
where to?
Somewhere safer. Or more convenient.
Can we really trust your translations? You only started studying a month ago.
I spent the summer reading, and I had a lot of free time on the ocean voyage.
Come on, how much could you possibly pick up in a few months?
You know my mind, it's a sponge.
S-O-S.
Out of order.
Why hasn't it been fixed?
Perhaps there wasn't much demand for it anymore. The key's in the casa. Whatever that is.
Don't look at me.
Casa.
So that's what it means. Cash register. You're a genuine gangster now, old fruit. Don't worry. If you get busted, I'll come visit you in the big house. Wasn't there supposed to be a key?
Here it is.
Бабки мы не возьмем. Bingo.
It is her hat.
Teddy, I'm not
Betty
sure
was
that's...
here, and not long ago.
Okay, but if that is her hat, what's it doing in a locked storeroom?
Another breadcrumb.
That's not an answer.
I know for sure she was here. That's what matters.
You know best, Edward. So, what now? If this is a breadcrumb, where's the next one?
There must be a reason her hat's in this room.
What's that?
A handwritten note.
I'm not blind. What does it say, you silly goose?
It's hard to read. I'm not sure my translation will be... Johann, you... Nectar. Refuse. You refuse to speak to me, so I write this letter instead. It's from Frederick Fretland to his brother. Simon did not... Bloody hell. Simon did not murder your Ruth. He was fond of his cousin.
Ruth. Ruth is the daughter of Anna and Johann, which means the little girl in the photograph at the farmhouse. Oh, Edward, The Fretland girl was murdered. This is simply awful.
Simon was working at the farm while I tended to the store. I would have seen him had he passed on the way up to the cliffs.
They thought Simon killed Ruth. His own cousin.
Ruth was... what's that word? Playing. Ruth was always playing on the rocks below the church. She must have fallen by accident. The note ends there. Frederick never finished it. And Johann never read it. Not that it would have made a difference. If Johann thought...
The mob showed up for Simon. His father would have tried to protect him.
September 17th. You would have been here, Betty.
Rocks below the church. Isn't the church right above us? Edward, come look at this. That's the cliff. Right there. The one in the note? I bet you 1,000,000 clams.
Where?
Что-то
See
там
for
было уже.
yourself.
I guess that could be where...
Let's check it out.
No, Lissy, wait.
Поздно. Она уж себя снула.
This way. Teddy, up here. I found it, Teddy. The cliff. I'm standing right below it.
What are you doing? This doesn't concern
A
us.
little girl died. We're staying in her home, for God's
Как
sake.
блядь,
Are you
ты забралась?
completely without heart? Get yourself up here, Edward Harden, right this minute. Come on, it's an easy climb.
This looks very dangerous.
Oh, you're a big boy. Start acting like it. It's not Mount Everest.
I don't know. Whoops-a-daisy. What is this?
Where little Ruth died.
You're being morbid. And this is a distraction. I'm here for Betty, not because some girl got
Edward.
herself...
You insensitive brute. You're like the Tin Woodman, no heart. You know, you've grown cold and mean in that horrid study of yours. With only books and bugs to keep you company for years and years and years. Please look at me. I'm talking to you. Well, as I was saying, there are other people in this world, you know. It's not all about you. Please look at me when I'm talking to you. So, there are other people in this world, you know. It's not all about you. You're going to do this. If not for Ruth, then for us. We're going to figure out what happened to the poor girl. Together.
Something struck this bush. She must have landed on it when... on her way down.
Is that blood?
The girl could have hit her head on that rock. Or would have... It's a long fall. Far enough to crush the girl's skull.
Edward Charles Harden!
What?
Oh, you're hopeless.
That's been here a while.
Didn't you say it happened over a month ago?
You'd think her family would have replaced it with fresh flowers.
Where are you going?
Something struck this bush. She must have landed on it when... on her way down.
That's ghastly, Edward. Where are you going?
Же вроде все закончилось, тут нет?
Where are you going?
I've seen all there is to see. I'm going back.
You can't leave. We might have missed something important. Where are you going?
It's a long fall. Far enough to crush the girl's skull.
Is that blood?
The girl could have hit her head on that rock. There would have been plenty of blood.
That's awful. I think there's something behind it. Can you move the rock aside? It must be Ruth's.
Where's the head?
Maybe the killer also decapitates dolls.
Hold on. This pin. This is old. Very old. Looks like something from the Viking era.
We are in the land of Vikings.
This could be 1,000 years old. It does not belong in a child's doll.
Who cares? Ruth is dead and you're obsessing about a rusty old pin? Let's go further up. Maybe we'll find more clues. Come on, old sport. It's not far.
Can you wait just 1 minute so that I can catch my breath? Huh? Did you follow the same path, Betty? Or am I just stumbling?
You can see clear beyond the edge of the world.
One
Oh,
second.
Teddy Bear. We need to take you out walking more often.
So, the girl fell from up here.
Was pushed, you mean. Can you see where she fell? Seeing as you're so concerned about me falling out of trees, I wouldn't want to risk falling off a cliff.
If she fell headfirst on that rock, she'd have died instantly.
Edward, honestly.
You wanted to learn more. This is you learning more. She hit her head and fell into the bush where I found her doll. Happy now, Alice?
I'm not. What was she doing up here in the first place?
Playing? She was a child. Children play in dangerous places.
There must be more to it. Let's find out where this path leads.
No, absolutely not. I don't have time for this nonsense. We're running out of daylight, and Betty's still... You're still out there. Where are you?
I'm over here!
Lissy, slow down. I can't keep up with you. Who knows what's up there? It's not worth the risk of falling and breaking something. Lissy? Are you there? Lissy.
No need to shout. Teddy,
My word. Look away, Lissy.
is this what happened to the villagers? They killed themselves?
It's one body. Let's not jump to conclusions.
What about those fresh graves at the church? There were at least half a dozen of them. Did everyone just die?
They're not necessarily connected.
Come on. This is just ghastly. What made him do this? How long has he been?
From the state of the body, perhaps a couple of weeks. It depends on temperature and humidity, of course.
Я застрял. Прикольно.
Teddy,
My word. Look away, Lissy.
is this what happened to the villagers? They killed themselves?
It's one body. Let's not jump to conclusions.
What about those fresh graves at the church? There were at least half a dozen of them. Did everyone just die?
They're not necessarily connected.
Oh, come on. What does that say?
God forgive me.
Don't suicides go to hell? Isn't that what your father said when
Stop.
your mother drowned
Don't.
herself? Sorry. Who was he? One of the Fretlanders?
It's not Johann or Frederick. And he's too old to be Simon.
Do you think this has something to do with Ruth? Maybe she came across the hanged man before she died, and it scared her. So she ran, and
This happened later.
there's some consolation in that, I guess. Maybe it's the killer. The guilt ate him up, and he offed himself.
That's just speculation with no basis in fact. There's nothing more to do here. I'm going back. Let the poor soul rest in peace.
Does it look like he's resting in peace? You're just going to leave him hanging? You're an insensitive brute.
I'm here for Betty. It's tragic, but really none of my concern.
Oh, Betty, Betty, Betty. Always just Betty. You don't care about anyone else. Look at me when I'm talking to you. What if that was me up there? Would you care then? All you do is obsess over a scarf and a hat and ugh.
It's all I have of Betty.
Betty, there she is again. Edward, the hanged man, he's someone. No matter what he did or didn't do, he deserves respect. Would you please just do this one decent deed? If not for me, then for yourself. Or for your Betty. What are you doing? You can't just pull him down by his legs. Try loosening the noose.
I can't reach that far.
Оживи, блядь.
I'm going to be sick. I can't do this.
Yes, you can. Teddy. Edward. I know you can. You've been through much worse. Where are the Fretlands, Edward?
It's been 2 days. If they're not back tonight,
They're not coming back.
perhaps they left after their daughter died.
Was murdered, you mean? Isn't that what we think happened?
She was probably murdered.
And you think Simon did it?
Your guess is as good as mine. It could have been an accident.
You're really not helping.
Can we talk about this tomorrow? I'm sorry.
You're exhausted.
I buried a corpse today, Alice.
I know. I'm sorry. Why don't you sleep in the guest bedroom?
The couch is fine.
The Fretlands could still come home.
Alright. Just don't come crying to me if you wake up with a crick in your neck. I'll be up for a while, if you feel like talking. What did you find?
Someone tried to burn this. It's addressed to Mrs. Fretland. My dearest Anna. It's from her sister, Margaret. I really shouldn't.
Really? How else are we going to figure out what happened? Keep reading.
My dearest Anna, I miss you so very, very much. The baby is due soon, and I wish for our family to reunite before... It's been 7 years since the dreadful incident at the mine. Can we not convince Frederick and Johann to forgive and forget? I know there are things Frederick has not told me about what they found and why they parted ways. Their grudge is tearing us all apart. Frederick won't even let me speak to half of our neighbors, accusing them of treason. He's so very angry and full of regrets. It's eating him up. And we...
And we what?
The rest is unreadable.
Margaret reached out to her sister. But I guess it didn't work.
This was written before Simon was born, but burned recently.
Интересно так. ФПС, блядь, в доме упало, блядь, а на улице оно не падает. Как так? Что не так с этой игрой? Видите, ФПС дропается. Так. Так, стопы. Много начала. Что-то ни слова про его сестру. Она в итоге приехала сюда? Так, что еще, блядь, не догоняю. Сестра, получается, так и не приехала. Откуда тут шмотки ела? Это главная тема игры. Блять. Что, зеркало, что ли?
You do look exhausted. Go to bed, Edward. I'll tuck you in.
Ебать, зеркало такое страшное.
What are you doing?
Betty will want these back.
I don't think it's healthy.
Not
to-
now, please. I'm exhausted.
Quite the day, huh?
I'm ready to pass out. Where will you sleep?
I'll be up for a while. My mind's simply racing.
Don't stay up late. Wake me if you hear the Fretlands arriving.
Of course. And I'll keep my eyes open for any ghosts that might want to haunt you in your sleep.
There are no...
Hush now. Sleep.
Все-таки такие игры мне нравятся. То есть мне очень понравилась игра Эдит Финч. Типа, куда пропал, что ли, Эдит Финч? Так, или что остался Эдит Финч? Ночью, всю ночь просыпался, блядь. Людей-то.
Lissy!
Upstairs. Teddy, is that you?
This is her room.
Hmm?
Are you paying attention? Ruth. Can you imagine? One moment you're living a perfectly happy life, and then... nothing. Darkness. Forever and ever. Maybe there's something here that can tell us what happened to her.
This is a waste of my time.
We might be the only ones left to tell her story, Edward.
You're just being melodramatic. I'll help you look.
Ruth was an artist.
This is very primitive.
Have you ever met a child, Edward? She wasn't Monet, she was 8. Ruth never finished this. What does that spell? F-O-R-B.
For Banelson. The curse.
Who is that figure supposed to be? It's creepy.
A figment of her imagination. But the box she drew... it looks like this box under her desk.
Really? Let me see, pull it out. What is this?
I believe this might qualify as actual treasure.
Is that Norwegian money?
Sort of, but ancient. Viking coins.
Are they valuable?
Not in terms of monetary value, but historically. Well, they belong in a museum.
Looks like Ruth had her own private museum.
Why would a child have these artifacts?
She must have enjoyed collecting and playing with them.
These are much too precious to play with. She should have given these to an adult.
She was a child, Edward. To her, they were just shiny toys. Wait! The pin! On the doll!
This is where it came from. Her collection.
But where did she find these treasures?
A dig, a gravesite. Wherever she found them, she wanted to keep them hidden.
You think someone found out?
These items wouldn't necessarily be worth much, except to a historian or archaeologist.
What if this is how... I mean, if someone learned she'd been collecting treasures, they might be willing to do terrible things.
There's still no sign of the Fretlands.
Maybe they left town after Ruth died. She made her bed that morning. Before she...
Or her parents did, Draugen.
Hey! The undead monster from those folk tales you read.
What an odd book for a child to have.
I don't know. Children love scary stories. This looks interesting. Read some of it to me, please.
In Norwegian folklore, the appearance of Draugen, the reanimated corpse of a drowned mariner, heralds death. Draugen haunts the Black Seas in a shattered boat. The beast has a man's body and wears a sou'wester, but instead of a head, there is tangled seaweed, and the revenant's chilling cry freezes mortal blood to ice. Draugen has the power to enter the dreams of the living. If you wake from such a dream, you have been spared, though someone close to you... That's enough of that. It's nonsense, of course. Not something a child should be reading.
Do you think Draugen took our boat? Maybe he's out there, on the fjord, waiting for nightfall so he can return to shore.
No.
Your soul lacks poetry, Edward Charles Harden. I pity you. This must be the village church. That's Ruth and her family on one side of the aisle, Simon and his father on the other.
A community divided.
She found something.
Where's that supposed to be?
A cave. Or the...
Mine. It could be. But what did she find?
Her Viking treasure. Of course. That must be Ruth and Simon's fathers.
Perhaps. They weren't on the best of terms.
They look like they want to kill each other.
To a child, maybe it looked worse than it was.
Children are more insightful than you give them credit for, Teddy Bear. There's a story here. The treasure box, the drawings.
The overactive mind of an imaginative child.
Well, she didn't imagine the Viking artifacts. You shouldn't be so dismissive. The drawings could be her way of dealing with traumatic events.
This is what happens when I read you the principles of psychology. You get notions.
You say that like it's a bad thing. Ruth was troubled. The village was troubled, and... Is that a
Нихуя себе.
bell?
The church bell. Someone's here. Maybe... Betty.
Why would Betty ring the church bell?
Perhaps she's in trouble. I need to get to the church right now.
Isn't it more likely to be the person you saw the other night?
I told you, I'm not sure that was anything. Come on.
Go ahead.
Мне кажется, ворону.
Lissy!
I'm up at the farm.
Where are you?
I'm up at the farm.
All these fresh graves.
No one's touched these since yesterday.
Who did this?
Someone who'd lost their faith.
Gone fishing?
God is not here.
Well, of course he isn't. You won't find God in a church. God is the wind in the trees, the grass between your toes, the brook that runs
That's
through.
nature, not God.
Can you peek through the boards? See anyone?
No,
Listen! The bell! They're still in there!
Hello? I heard the bell.
Well, this is giving me
I'm
the
here to help.
heebie-jeebies.
These boards look flimsy enough to break.
Look at that. The Ethel becomes an Edward. I didn't think you had it in you, old fruit.
Be quiet.
Betty? Are you here? Hello? This is Edward Harden. I'm looking for my sister, Elizabeth.
Stop shouting, Edward. We're alone. What's this rope for?
The bell.
This is the bell we heard ringing?
I don't see any other bells.
So you have to stand here and pull this rope.
Lissy, look. Betty's gloves. They are definitely Betty's.
Oh, for
She got
Pete's
these
sake.
in Boston before she left for New York. She bought them at Woolworth. I remember the day she... She's here.
Where? And why would she leave her clothes lying around? It doesn't make
Breadcrumbs.
sense.
She's sending me a message. She knew I'd recognize her gloves. Her hat. She's left a trail for me to follow, like Ariadne's red thread.
We're not in a labyrinth.
Betty will have left more crumbs.
Betty, you're turning into such a pill.
Мне кажется, это было какое-то отношение иметь к этой Бетти. Или Бетти, блядь, его на эту глюк.
They're the church book, a record of births and deaths.
So we can find out what happened to the people in the village?
And Elizabeth. I mean, if she was dead,
Her name would be in the book.
vandals. They tore it to pieces.
I don't think the missing pages left the church. Look. How many pages are missing?
I counted 4.
They're probably all still here. I know. Let's make it a competition. 1-0 to Team Me. I've never seen you read the Bible.
For he is our peace, who hath made both one, and hath broken down the middle.
Jesus looks sad.
What reason would Jesus have to be happy?
Don't be blasphemous. I wanted you to find that one. I know what a rotten loser you are. The final dinner.
The Last Supper. Who taught you about the New Testament?
I pick up on things. Most folks aren't heathens, like you. Found another one. You get it.
What are you doing? We're in a church.
Thought you didn't believe in God.
I do believe in civility.
Just one more page missing. So what happened? What's that?
The last sermon that was held here.
What does it say?
The vicar's handwriting is hard to decipher, and the language. He talks about the village being divided for 20 years. This sermon was held on the anniversary of the accident this past summer. He's asking the congregation to help heal old wounds, to forgive, move on. Something to the effect of, you sit in separate aisles in God's house.
Like Ruth's drawing. I told you, she was perceptive.
It sounds like Grovik was split in two, between those who stood by Johann and those who supported Frederick.
Because of Ruth?
The sermon is from before that. No, this is all about the preceding 20 years of division and disagreements. Here's something else. Many of you believe Grovik was cursed 20 years ago. God has not cursed you. This curse is of your own making.
Ruth's drawing mentioned a curse. What do you think that means?
It means they believed they were cursed, and that they needed something or someone to blame for their misfortune. Tilly Verandre.
Edward?
Forgive each other. It addresses Johann and Frederick directly, but I wonder if they were even here.
Well, they were twin brothers. They must have been close once. How could they allow their grudge to escalate until 2 for 2? A tie. Good job, Teddy, old
Stop,
bean.
Lissy. This is not a game. Betty's out there.
Of horse feathers. Stop being so gosh darn tedious, Edward. Biddy, biddy, biddy. Will you ever shut up about your precious Betty? Put those
This book goes back years. It lists births and deaths. Here's the third Fretland brother. The one who died in the cave-in. Someone added the word for Banelson, probably quite recently.
What does that mean again?
Curse. That word is all over this book. Not just the men who died in the mine, but other deaths in the last 20 years.
Ruth's drawing and the sermon both mentioned a curse. What do you think it means?
I don't know. There were surprisingly few births.
Perhaps they blame that on the curse as well.
Look here. Ruth Elsa Fretland. She was buried in the cemetery. And the next entry, Simon Fretland. Now this is interesting.
Simon is dead? Oh, that's dreadful.
He drowned the day after Ruth died. Probably no coincidence. See what's scribbled next to it?
Mord?
Murder.
Who killed him? Ruth's father? Or the mob that trashed the store?
It doesn't say. After the children, a half-dozen deaths in a single week.
The curse.
It's listed as the cause for every single death.
Maybe there really was a curse.
Primitive superstition. But something changed after Ruth and Simon. It might explain why there's no one around.
Edward, if it killed everyone, how's that not a curse? What does that word say? Next to those names at the bottom. For a
Traitor.
Edward? What's wrong?
The final entry. There's no name. Alice, what if...
Oh, Edward, no.
Betty,
It doesn't mean she's...
she's not dead. She can't be. I know.
Teddy.
I need to see the grave for myself. It's not Betty. Betty's still alive.
Teddy? Where are you going? Don't leave me!
Where is it? You better not be here, Betty. I'll never forgive you. I don't see it. Where is it?
What are you doing?
Looking for the unmarked grave. This one. It's unmarked.
What are you doing? Have you gone completely mad? Edward, stop it!
Thank God. It's not her. It's not Betty. It's not her.
Oh, Edward. What have you done?
It's not Elizabeth. I was so afraid.
You're a monster.
But I had to be sure. If Betty...
To hell with your Betty! When did she ever shed a tear for you?
Don't talk about my baby sister like
Or
that.
what? Or what, Edward? What will you do? Ignore us? Banish us? You've spent your entire life chasing her. When are you going to do something useful with what's left of it?
Quiet! Just leave me be.
Fine.
Lizzie?
Короче,
Alice?
он психический, походу.
Don't leave me alone. Please. Come back. I need you.
Поэтому он так быстро перемещается и появляется везде.
Lizzie? Where are you? Lizzie? Alice? Alice, please. Come back to me. Now listen to me. No! Lizzie. Hey. Lizzie, please listen to me. I didn't mean what I said.
Of course you meant it. Everything's always about Betty. Betty, Betty.
I care about you both.
Until it really matters. Then it's obvious who matters more.
I thought she was dead.
I wish she was!
Don't.
You deserve to be alone.
Посмотрим, так предполагалось, что это закончится чем-то а-ля «Остров проклятых» Мартина Скорсезе.
Please, talk to me.
What's there to talk about?
You can't keep running away from me.
You think you own me? That you control me? That you get to decide how I feel and what I do every minute of every day? That I'm your puppet? Your little plaything? Well, fuck you, Edward Charles Harden! I never should have come here with you on this pointless chase!
Now, be reasonable. What are you doing?
What I should have done years ago. Maybe now you'll learn to appreciate us.
Now listen to me. Please, listen. Hear me out. Don't do this. You can't do this to me. I need you. I'm not whole without you. I can't lose you. I can't live without
Я не
you.
могу остановить ее.
Don't,
Меня не срабатывает.
don't, please, don't, no, 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 no! What? No! Oh, Alice, what have you done? Please, be all right. Please, don't.
You make me sick, Edward. Your mother and father would be ashamed. Elizabeth would be ashamed. They did not think you deserved their love, so they abandoned you.
Don't.
Oh, my child. We are all that you have, and we love you.
Вот это
We
приход,
are
блин.
here. With us, you are never alone. Do not forget.
No, never.
Вот это приход.
Never. I never forget. I am never alone.
Wake up, Edward. Stop hiding. Where you go, we go, Edward. You cannot hide from us.
Where's Lissy?
Alice is not here.
Bring her back. Please. I need her.
Alice does not love Elizabeth like you do.
She loves me.
Not like I do, Edward.
I'm so tired. Please.
What do you want?
I think of you so often. You have no idea.
You just want me to forgive you so that we can keep looking for your precious, perfect Betty.
She needs us.
She never needed you, Teddy Bear. And she certainly doesn't need us.
I can't find her on my own.
Well, it's just too bad, my darling Edward. Because we're done playing second fiddle to little sis.
Wait, don't go. I'm talking to you, Lissy. Oh. Please. Listen. Lissy. You can't keep vanishing on me.
Try me.
Why are you so angry?
You do not know anger, Edward.
Did you ever meet my father?
Alice does not want to speak with you.
And what about you? Are you going to help me?
God helps those who help themselves.
I don't need God's help. I need Lissy.
Do you, though? Did you ever?
What? Of course,
Сейчас еще кажется, блядь, что это он вырезал, блядь, ее сестру, блядь.
Alice, hear me out. Don't go. I depend on you both.
You can never depend on other people, Edward.
I'm not sure you count as other people.
Everyone leaves, one way or another.
You don't. You can't.
Is that a challenge?
Stop playing games.
Are you ordering me, Teddy Bear?
I'm asking you.
Didn't your father always tell you to stand up for yourself? To be a real man and not a sissy? Maybe that's why he put the gun to his head and pulled the trigger. Kaboom! He was so disappointed about what his only son had turned into.
You're a monster.
Takes one to know one. Old fruit.
Понятно. Уйти нельзя.
Lissy? Lissy! Lissy, get back here. I gave you this jacket. Betty! You were here. Lissy, I'm tired of chasing you. I'm trying to talk to you. Alice, be reasonable. Lissy, look. Her jacket. I'm sure it wasn't here yesterday, which means
Jesus Christ,
Betty was
Teddy.
here. Perhaps when we were out yesterday. She
Betty,
must have...
Betty.
Betty.
You love Betty more than you love us. But don't you see? What has Betty done that we haven't? What can she do that we cannot? We've always been there for you. Why do you keep looking for her?
She's real. You're not.
So?
What? You decide what is real. We are real to you.
We'll never be the same.
She does not want you.
Who are you talking to?
Why do you think Betty left? She was sick and tired of us. She wanted to escape.
Like mother.
Drowning herself because she couldn't stand being around us.
Like father.
Bang! Right in the coconut.
Stop.
You drive them all away, Edward. All into death.
Please.
But not us. We're always here for you.
I beg you.
You are never alone.
Stop! Leave me alone, both of you!
You want to be alone?
You really want to be alone?
Fine. You're alone.
For good.
Lissy. Come back. Please. Don't leave me. I lied. I don't want you to leave me alone. I don't want to be alone. Please, Lissy. Betty? Elizabeth? Is that you? Are you upstairs? Betty? Betty! Are you in there? Open the door! I'm coming in! Stand away from the door! Betty? No! No, 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 no! Oh. Oh, thank you. Thank you. it was you, Betty. But who? Anna.
Даже трупного запаха нету для типа, да? Окей.
It's from Johann, addressed to his wife. Did you notice the handwriting, Betty? He was clearly distraught. Knock ere knock. Enough is enough. After decades of strife, I pray that God will... Tilly, forgive me. I am tired of secrets. For 20 years I have kept my silence about our discovery, but my silence has only led to misfortune, and my cowardice has only led to death. I will make Frederick pay for what he has done to us, for what they have done to our Ruth. When it is over, I will let the ocean take me to you and Ruth. May God forgive me. Anna was already dead when he wrote this. He had no one else to confess to. What now, Betty? Johann went to confront his brother, probably at Frederick's farm. And then? You said this was a gift from another unlucky suitor. It was precious to you. You wouldn't have left it here unless... a signpost. A breadcrumb. You followed Johann to Frederick Fretland's farm, and then to the mine. You wouldn't let this go, Betty. You'd follow your story to the end. All the way to the end. So where is Frederick's farm? Gate. Frederick's warning. The path leads to his farm.
Короче, совсем поехал, блядь.
The farm is on the way to the mine, isn't that so, Betty? What led you to this place? All these fragments. You would piece them together into a story, wouldn't you, Betty? So, what do we know? Johann and Frederick are partners, and on good terms. But something happens in the mine. Disagreements lead to a falling out. And at the end of it all, 20 years later, Johann walks this path to confront Frederick. Was this your doing, Johann? Did you burn your brother's farm to the ground? And where were you, Betty? Did you witness their fall? Simon's grave. Born December 5th, 1909, died September 17th, 1923. Why bury Simon here and not at the cemetery? If the village blamed him for Ruth's death, I could really use your imagination, Betty. You'd figure this out in no time.
Betty?
То есть одну дверь мы вывели, а вторую уже не хотим, да, выбивать? А, шахта закрыта.
Are you here, Betty?
What do you reckon, Betty? Let's try Simon's birthday. Another Viking artifact, Betty. Most likely from the same treasure Ruth found. Postmarked in Boston. That's a curious coincidence. Dear Frederick, I hope this letter... It's in English, Betty. Hope this letter finds you and the boy in good health. We're concerned about you both. No word from you for almost 2 years now. All of us still heartbroken about Margaret's passing. We know things have been difficult for you and Simon. Mr. Fretland, we expect you to take care of this problem. If the discovery is made public, the authorities will intervene and the mine will be shut down. Should this happen, we will consider it a breach of our contract, and we will withdraw our investment. You and your brother will be responsible for all debts and losses. Johann must be convinced to wall up the chamber. We have already dealt with the worker who made the discovery. The Fretland Mining Company. This must be for that locked shed. You went to the mine. I hope our guardian angel watched over you. All right, Betty. Johann and Frederick discover something in the mine. A cave or chamber of archaeological value. They argue about what to do. If the discovery is made public, it's the end of their enterprise. Johann is convinced or paid to walk away. Their secret stays hidden. Then, a few months later, the accident. 3 men die. The investors pull out. The mine shuts down. Frederick's up to his neck in debt. Cursed mine in Grovik? Locals struggle with bad crops and livestock deaths and blame it on... They thought they were cursed because of the mine. A thing like that becomes self-fulfilling. If you believe you're cursed, every misfortune feeds the delusion. So, the Fretland feud tears the village apart, setting neighbor against neighbor. And then, Ruth stumbles across the secret in the mine. After all this time, the truth may finally come to light, but she dies. And the day after, Simon is murdered. It's a catalyst. Old grievances resurface. No matter who you stand with, you're a traitor. Things escalate. More people die. From disease, despair, suicides, murder. All because of the mine. Because of what they found there. And what they covered up. There was no one to stop it, Betty. They were alone. That's the real curse of Grovik. Isolation. Did you come here to tell their stories? This place is cursed. Ridiculous. Ruth was here the day she fell. Something spooked her, and then she ran all the way to the cliff where... Do you know what happened, Betty? Did you witness it?
Hello? Betty, are you in there? Please answer me. Betty? Hello?
Oh, Betty. This is Mother's brooch. You always wore this. You wouldn't take it off unless... You left it here for a reason. What am I not seeing?
Ну все, пиздец.
Edward! Edward!
Betty?
Опять глюк.
Elizabeth? Is that you?
Edward? Where are you?
I'm on my way, Betty. Wait for me.
Edward!
Stay where you are. I'm coming.
Все больше и больше кажется, что это маленькая девочка и этот Эдвард, блядь, это как раз таки и есть брат с сестрой. То есть Саймон и Рут.
Edward! Where are you?
I'm on my way.
Edward, please!
I'm here,
Hurry!
Betty! It's Ed! I'm coming! I can hear you! Hold on! I'm almost there! Stay put, Betty! I'm coming for you!
Edward!
I'm almost there!
Очередной глюк ебаный.
Betty?
Edward!
Betty!
Сейчас в итоге, блядь, мы найдем ее повешенной, блядь.
Just stay put!
Или это ангелы прикалываются с этой Элизабет. Не Элизабет, как она? Алиса.
Edward! Oh, Edward, hurry!
I'm coming!
Edward, is that you? I'm in here.
Это манекен говорит, блядь.
Thank God.
Elizabeth! There you are.
Долбоеб.
Finally! You have no idea how long I've been looking for you. You had me so worried. I... Look. Your brooch. Mother's brooch. You must have lost it at the mine. Let me put it on for you, Betty. I wouldn't want you to lose it again.
Глюк.
No.
She's been dead for 30 years, Edward. Elizabeth was never here. But we didn't come for her. We came for Johann, and Anna, and Frederick, and Simon, and Ruth. We're here to tell their stories.
No. Elizabeth. She's here.
You know Betty died when she was a baby. She drowned in the pond. And you found her. You were just 11. You carried her to your mother. And your mother...
She hated you for that.
She could never forgive you for bringing her baby to her. And you could never forgive yourself for what she did after. You always forget this. Because you don't want to be alone. So you bring Betty back. Again and again. To New York. To Boston. To the house. But always just out of reach. Never quite there. The scent of her. The echo of her. But never really her. All it does is make you lonelier. But the thing is, Edward, you're never alone.
You have us.
And you'll always have us. Betty's... She was never there for you. She couldn't be. You can't lose us. We're a part of you.
Forever. And ever. And ever.
But you need to let Betty go now. There's not room for all of us in there.
I couldn't save you, Elizabeth. I'm so sorry. It is as painful to wake from a vision as it is to be born anew.
Я думал, это конец уже. что я могу сказать? Игра шикарна. История тоже неплоха. Но еще тут самое лично для меня это виды. То есть, насколько я не люблю осень, и насколько она здесь красивая.
Come outside. It's beautiful. Had your noodle
Такую
juice yet?
осень.
I might be
Я
weaned off
полюбил.
this stuff.
Boo. Don't lose your taste for tea, old
Вот
fruit.
посмотрите.
It keeps you human.
Такую осень
We
я
have
бы точно
unfinished
полюбил.
business.
We do?
The final piece of the puzzle.
Ruth.
Come on. Let's go back to where it started. We have an appointment with a ghost. Such an amazing view, isn't it? And the air. Ugh. Why did we come here, Teddy?
To Grovik. Well. Some places have gravity.
What are you saying? Gravewick's gravity pulled us across the Atlantic Ocean?
Grovik. No. I'm not saying that. That's irrational.
But you believe it, don't you? That we were summoned to tell their story.
The letter to Frederick.
The one you found in his safe. From Boston.
I may have overheard a conversation somewhere, paid it no attention, but the name stuck. And Betty... And I spun a story around it that put us on this path.
Do you really believe that? I mean, how often are you around people?
To find my sister.
But Betty's not. She was never here. It doesn't make sense.
I'm a man of science. I don't know what to believe.
And yet, here we are. All three of us.
Is this what you wanted to show me?
I wanted to be close to her. Do you believe in ghosts, Edward?
You know I don't.
Well, you've been chasing one for years.
That's different.
What about me? Us.
You're not ghosts, you're alive.
Fair enough. So what really happened to Ruth?
I believe it was an accident.
How? What happened?
Your guess is as good as mine.
All right, she ran from the mine and came here. And then... Was she afraid? What made her run?
Something spooked her.
And she panicked. So she ran here. Why not home? She couldn't go home. Or she didn't want to. She felt safe here. This was her happy place. And then... If only Ruth had wings, like an angel, she could have flown straight to heaven. I hope she's at peace. And with God. Do you think that's where everyone's gone?
They're dead. I don't believe there's anything more to it than that. But there's comfort in oblivion, and we won't be alone. We'll never know what happened to everyone in Grovik.
We tried our best. We'll remember them. All of them. Maybe that will give them some peace in oblivion. Could this be your book, Edward? The one you've been wanting to write? A story about people who are isolated, left behind by the world. You can give them all a proper ending, with no annoying loose threads. Edward! Is that...
Our boat? But how?
Who cares? Let's catch it before it sets out on another adventure.
I don't understand how this can be.
Draugen got tired of sailing around in it and brought it back to us.
It must have been the wind.
Whatever helps you sleep at night, teddy bear. Let's blouse, while the weather's still good.
I need my suitcase.
So get a wiggle on, old boy. I'm going to say my goodbyes to all the things. I don't think we'll be back. Meet you at the house.
My goodness. Righty-ho. No rush.
We have all day. What a beautiful day. Oh, look at that. The ground's finally dried up. Really is lovely here. The wind and the ocean are like music. I think I'll miss this place.
Come on, Teddy. Pack your things. I'll meet you by the boat.
Do you never sit still?
Don't be a wet blanket. Let's make like the wind and get out of here.
The air really is invigorating.
Come on, let's go. Row, Teddy, row.
Все в конце такие уплывают, да? И такой человек такой, хоп, спиной стоит и смотрит на них.
The water's still cold.
It's a fjord, Lissy, and it's almost winter.
There'll be snow when we get back to Hanover.
The house will be warm.
Are we going to be all right, Edward?
I think so.
Вот и все, в принципе. Игра шикарная, графика шикарная, виды шикарные. Что еще могу сказать? Только история до конца, конечно, не рассказанная, но тоже неплохо. То есть, если бы они показали там, ну, типа, флешбеков каких-то, то есть, как все на самом деле произошло. Но видите, тут оставили за главным героем выбор, то есть что произошло. То есть мы могли сказать, ну как мы сказали, что это был несчастный случай, мы могли сказать, что это было убийство, и это убийство привело к тому, что после смерти Рут разгневанный отец пошел и утопил Саймона. И, соответственно, это привело к тому, к чему привело. Хорошо, как бы, когда историю можно интерпретировать по-своему. Шикарная игра. Спасибо всем, кто смотрел. Я это выложу, пожалуй, на YouTube.